The FBI has raided former Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell's home and also seized his electronic devices. A person familiar with the matter says it's part of an ongoing investigation connected to sexual misconduct allegations. NBC News legal affairs reporter Gary Grumbach joining us now with what we know. So, Gary, let's start with Swalwell being stopped on Saturday at San Francisco International Airport, SFO, where his devices were taken. What exactly were agents looking for?
Yeah, his devices were taken there at SFO on Saturday, and then on Sunday, his Washington, D.C. home was searched by the FBI. We don't know exactly what they are looking for, the FBI, but we do know it was involving an investigation into the allegations of sexual assault against the former congressman. You'll remember that a former staffer alleged to CNN and the San Francisco Chronicle that Swalwell sexually assaulted her multiple times when she was too intoxicated to consent. Also, two other women had alleged that he sent them unsolicited photos and videos. He denies all of those allegations. That led to him, though, to drop out of the race for governor there in California. It led to him to resign from Congress. And the House Ethics Committee was looking into these allegations before he had resigned from Congress. But this takes it another level, right? This is an FBI investigation, a Department of Justice investigation looking into what exactly happened around the sexual assault allegations with former Congressman Eric Swalwell.
Yeah, it certainly raises the stakes, Gary. What is Swalwell and his legal team saying about the raid?
So they have not commented yet. We are out to both his attorneys. We're out to the FBI. They don't have a comment on this either. We do know that Eric Swalwell has vigorously denied these allegations. He called them at the time politically motivated because it came right in the final weeks of the governor race for the primary there in California. And so certainly he called them politically motivated at the time. He said he would even file legal action against some of the women who made those allegations. We have not seen any of that yet. We don't have any specific comment on the raid.
Right, and it's worth pointing out for context here that Swalwell is already facing investigations in New York City and in Los Angeles. So I guess, Gary, how does the federal investigation tie into any of that?
So these can go on parallel tracks, right? We've seen this all the time in criminal investigations. There can be a federal investigation happening and state investigations happening as well, because there can be different crimes, right? They can be state crimes or federal crimes. There is certainly some working together that can also happen in terms of evidence sharing and witness testimony as well. So we will see how this interacts with each other. But right now, we do know there are now going to be two separate tracks, or three even, one in San Francisco, or one in California, one in New York, and one federally here, Sam.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.